And the trap line, setting for coon. Today's the opening day of mink and muskrat. I was trapping the week prior to a hurricane that we had here on the East Coast, and I pulled everything, so we're coming back in. Going to reset the same locations, and we're going to add a few more, and maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you already know it, but I'm still going to show it. This is how it's done. First thing you want to find is a good spot where you think there might be raccoon or whatever it is you're trapping. For example, we got that giant tree up there, and I know for a fact that coon den there, we got coon poop and everything all over, and we're gonna put in a dirt hole set, but with all the flooding in the swamp and stuff, apparently my old dirt hole set filled up, so we're just gonna reverse it and throw this up on the top instead. You always want to have a backing so the animal works it from the front. In this case, a raccoon won't matter so much. They're not afraid of the water, but the water on the back adds as a double thing. But what you want to do is just chop it up a little bit, get a little loose, and you want to fill up just put it in there because you're going to need that later for your trap bed. But you want to go tight in along as close as you can and just dig out the dirt. It shouldn't take you long in muck like this. Kind of like that. And I'm just going to wire this trap off to some wire rather than putting a stake because the ground's so soft. But what we're using here is some Duke number 1.5s. That one's already been used this year, obviously. Get all this old wire off of here. Always take your trash with. So my pans and whatnot I have modified. These are just slightly modified, so it's not like a set or forget, so I got to lower the pan to level. Right on the hair trigger. Cut that bed out a little farther. Got to make sure your trap sits down flat, and you want a little loose ground. Go down about 3-4 inches. Want some loose ground, and I always like to keep the trigger back away so it doesn't possibly flip the foot out of the way or whatnot. But you want to get it back about 3-4 inches off the trap pan. You want to get that pushed down in so it's solid. And from there, you want something to attach it to. And obviously, with my old set, I was attached to that. So we'll just utilize this log again. Set it up there. Now, we need some wire, which, of course, is all the way on the bottom, like always. And I'm going to take some wire here. Oh, my dad's gonna be mad. I'm getting his pliers all muddy. Couldn't find my pliers this morning, so had to run up to my mom and pop's house real quick and borrow theirs. Oh well, that's what they make water for. Wash them off. Simply gonna take this wire, wrap it around, give it a few good twists. You want it that it's loose so it can spin, so the wire doesn't get weak from the animal pulling. But yeah, you don't want it so loose that he can pull it up and down off it. Just kind of like that. And you just wire it off like this. Same thing on both ends. You just wire it. I use 14 gauge wire just because it's a little heavier. It'll hold bigger animals with no problem. And what I also like to do, like to just dig down a little bit, just a little trough like thing, so I can kind of bury my chain and everything up out of it. And maybe I might want to
a little more hole.
Make a little flatter here. The important thing is that you bed it. Okay, now what we do, you start sifting it over. I'm not too particular with coon ceps because they're not overly intelligent animals. They're not overly wary, so I don't need to pack dirt with a trap pan cover or anything. Yeah, basically what I'm saying is coon are pretty dumb, but just want to cover your trap over best you can. If you're by the creek and the ground you're using is a little too muddy, that it's too thick and whatnot, it doesn't hurt to walk a couple feet away, get some dry ground. And that's pretty much all you need to do with that. I'll just take the extra ground and just pack it down over top of the wire and everything. Throw a few leaves back up on here. Hide that wire nice and good. And then take my shovel, because if this does decide to snap off, you don't want your hand up in it. That's for sure. And there you got your hole. Very important, whether you're trapping canine or whatever, you don't want your scent-free gloves to get sended up with lure. So we take that off. So what I'm going to do here, believe it or not, marshmallows. Toss them down the hole. Take a stick, push them down in. What the marshmallow will do, gives it a little eye appeal to the raccoon, gives them something to hang out for, and when you're doing something like this and you see the hole actually comes down into the water, so the bottom's filled with water, what it would do is give you a solid dry base for which you put your bait on. This particular place, I'm going to use some Marisada baits out of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, just up the road from my house, about an hour. Going to use some shellfish. Oh man, this stuff stinks. Give it a good stir. Take a nice sized glob. Put it right down, deep down in that hole as you can get it. Give them some extra scent. I don't mind even leaving the stick around just because it has that scent on it. And then as far as the lure is concerned, we're going to try some Milligan's brand Coon Creek. It's good stuff. All we need to do is drops, put it up here in the grass a little bit. Let some drip down in that hole, down off the top. And then to finish my set off, I'm going to take some fish oil and all I do is just give it a few squirts here and there all around, so any coon that's running the high bank, running the low bank, smell that and hopefully come into my set. And that's pretty much how I do a third hole set along a creekway. Well, this is actually a slough. It's not really a moving creek. It's more like a swamp, but the coon definitely run this. And keep you posted, let you know how we make out. Look for the other videos and see you on the flip side.